Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar. Booyah! And it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McCaig, and you're listening to the Wednesday edition of the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com or on the website www.thegamesportshow.com or on YouTube on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. And we here on the Game Sports Show, thank you for stopping on by. And we're here on an action-packed Wednesday, as always, here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. And we're here for its famous Wednesday wing night, 75-cent wings, got delicious beer as well. And when you're watching football, you got the Sunday game day draws. You have a chance to win 4 tickets. How you can enter into that, you come to Sportscenter on football game nights. That's Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. 1 ballot per customer. You must be 18 years of age or older, and the draws will take place on the Sunday nights. Now, they just drew for these 2 weeks for the Carolina Panthers game and the Chicago Bears game, and Mitch Tynese was one of the winners on that, friend of mine and listener of the show, and obviously a friend of Molson rep Dustin Grondin as well. It was a great victory for him. He was very excited. So if you want a chance to win those tickets for a chance to go in the Miller Lite Tap Room in Ford Field in Detroit, get on down to Sports Center and make them a part of your day for football nights, Monday, Thursday, or Sunday. Here on tonight's show, I'm going to have Matt Premo and Jamie Antonello as my panel, as Dustin is potentially going to come on. We don't know. He might make a surprise appearance. And we're also maybe expecting Nathan Inch for a surprise cameo and thunderous appearance through the doors for a couple minutes of Intercontinental Inch and in the ring with Nathan Inch. He is currently just spending time with a friend, so he might not be here, but he might be. So make sure you stay tuned. If you hear a big loud noise in the background, that's probably Nathan Inch potentially coming on. But for tonight's show, we have our In the Pocket segment. We're going to be talking about local football and a lot of exciting news when it comes to local football, especially if you're a Korah Colts fan. I know that I am, and I got the 2 guys at the table here that coach both the senior and the junior teams for Korah. Both had a very successful weekend and we have a big game coming up this weekend for the senior football team. And also, we're going to talk about the NFL for Week 9, and also we're going to discuss Week 10 with the game starting tomorrow between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Carolina Panthers for Thursday night football. Then when we close off tonight's show, we're going to have our roundtable discussion. For sure the Raptors are going to be on that table, and if we have a little bit of more time, we'll discuss more topics that are hot in the world of sports. As I mentioned, we're live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. You can listen to a previous edition of the Game Sports Show that was on Monday at the Wicked Sister with myself, Scott Nason, Butch Davis, and EJ Russell. We are there Mondays from 6 till 8, 6 to 7 live on Eagle 95.1, 7 to 8 on Podbean page and the website. Tomorrow, myself, Justin, Dane, and potentially Brad. The full panel is at Northern Superior Brewing Company, and we have Greg Hartsburg coming on that show for tomorrow, and we're hoping a Thunderbird guest as well, as will be at Northern tomorrow at 7:15. Now, without further ado, I'm going to bring in the fellas. The man to my left is Matt Premo. The man in front of me is Jamie Antonello. I'm going to start over with the guy on my left. Matt, how you doing, sir?
Good to be back. Looking forward to talking some local sports. Big weekend and a big weekend coming up for Korah football, so obviously lots to talk about there. Definitely excited, and hope to see a lot of fans out this weekend at the Korah NOSSA final at Superior Heights.
It's going to have that, I want to say, Heinz Field-esque atmosphere at Superior Heights potentially. We're expecting a little bit of snow, I believe, this weekend in terms of flurries. I don't think it's going to stick to the ground yet. I think it's still a little too early for that, but it's going to be some nice chilly weather, but doesn't matter because the action's going to be hot on the field, so you'll be fine when you watch the game. I'm going to go with that line. Jamie, over to you, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here as always, and like Matt said, I mean, we had a great weekend. Korah Juniors were able to wrap up their 3rd straight NOSSA championship. Really proud of my team for getting that done, and we got the rematch now. West Ferris and Korah again, back-to-back years in the NOSSA final. This time on our turf, hopefully it goes differently.
Definitely exciting local football going on, and congratulations to the Korah junior football team for winning the 3-peat it was for the NOSSA championships. And you can follow Korah Colts football on Instagram, which is at Korah Football for that, and they got a lot of posts they put on. The captions and hashtags are insane, and they make it entertaining on there, but they also shared a lot of the Game Sports Show editions on there too. So our Instagram page is connected to that, our fresh new Instagram page. And you can also follow our Facebook page. That's a new Facebook page that was just launched earlier last week, and we have a question on there courtesy of SportsCenter in terms of Sioux native Matt D'Agostini. Get your answer in there by Friday for your chance to win a large pizza courtesy of SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and that's Eden, and that's for the third year in a row. Can't forget, SportsCenter was named the Sioux's best sports bar. So fellas, getting the show started other way here, we're going to hut. Start in the pocket. I tried that. That was a little giggle. I tried it. Preems, I'm going to go over to you first, and we're going to. The reason why I'm not going to Jamie first, because I know the junior team won. They got their three-peat. I want you to talk about the junior team before I go over to Jamie to get really dissect the junior football and the championships. Then I want you to promote the game that's coming up this weekend for yourself. Saturday at 2 o'clock at Superior Heights. So talk about that before we slide over to Jamie. We'll let you two spearhead the local football scene here in the Sioux.
Yeah, I think Korah junior program especially just solidified itself as obviously the best junior football program in the city. 3 years in a row, 3 NOSSA championships. Congratulations to Jamie. He's done a great job with that group. I think it's really helped build our program at the senior level, having him down there and teaching the basics to some of these kids and getting them ready to play at the senior level and beyond. He's done a great job. Can't say much more about what he's done there. You look at the score in the game on Saturday, dominant performance. I think it goes to show you the caliber of football we have here in Sault Ste. Marie. Hands down, we have the best football in Northern Ontario. Here in Sault Ste. Marie, we have the best players, best coaches. I think Jamie and his Korah Colts proved that on Saturday. Dominant effort. They were unreal, and it was never really in doubt, or there was no doubt that they were going to win that game from the first snap of the game. In terms of the senior game, we had our NOSSA semifinal last week. We played against Lively. The first half, it was an exciting game for the fans. A lot of scoring. It was back and forth, up and down the field for the first half of the game. We came out in the second half, and we showed our dominance. They had a little bit of a smaller team, and we were able to kind of break them a bit. And you could see the fatigue setting in, and we ended up being able to pound the ball. We rushed for over 500 yards. Really just imposed our will on them in the run game, and that was the difference in the game. We were able to wear them down. They were electric in the passing game. They had a couple big pass plays. Their quarterback was very athletic, good arms, a couple good receivers. But in the end, in the second half, we were just able to run away with it because they kind of ran out of steam. Hats off to them, though. That's a small school. I believe their student body is less than 300 students. And they competed. They won the city championship in the Sudbury region and came in back-to-back years, and then they came to the Sioux, and they gave us a really good effort in the first half, just kind of ran out of steam. And we've been in that same boat before. Me and Jamie coach in the summer. We play some of these larger teams, and we have smaller teams and not as many numbers, and you can stay in it for a half, and sometimes it gets hard for a full game. That's why having a full roster and full bench is important some of these times. As Jamie mentioned earlier, we're going into the rematch this year, the NOSSA finals, Korah and West Ferris. Last year it was an exciting game, came down to 1 point, 25-24. West Ferris got the edge. You can maybe attribute that to some home field, but they're a well-coached, solid team. And I think it's going to go a little bit different this way. We have a lot of players back from last year that are looking for some redemption. They remember what it felt like to lose, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again. I think we're ready. We've prepared. We prepared as much as we could possibly prepare as a coach staff and the players as well. They've had a good week of practice. I expect the outcome to be different this year at the game home in the Sioux. I hope that we get a lot of fans. I know it's supposed to be a little colder this weekend. It looks like snow for maybe the next couple of days, but like I said, I don't think it's going to stick around. Just dress for the elements, bring a hot chocolate, maybe put your favorite adult beverage in there in that hot chocolate or that coffee, and come take in the game. It's going to be a great game. And really come support the Korah athletes. I think they deserve it. They put in the work. They really deserve to have the fans coming back to them, especially Korah students, Korah alumni, parents. I think they come out and support and football fans from around the city. This is a big opportunity for the NOSSA Championship to come back to Sault Ste. Marie, so hopefully get a lot of good support out on Saturday at 2 p.m. at Superior Heights.
It's going to be very exciting football, and for Korah Colts, winning that, definitely, I couldn't agree more with Premo's opinion there with Korah Colts football really surpassing being the kings, or if you want to call them that, in terms of Sault Ste. Marie, in terms of football program. But definitely for the senior team, good luck going on to that, and hopefully they can win this Saturday. The Game Sports Show will be there on location. Myself, I'm not too sure who's going to accompany me, but obviously Jamie and Matt will be there with covering Korah there with coaching. I believe I will have Justin there and Dane. As we all know, Dane Hancho is back on the Game Sports Show, returned home, and we all know he has nothing to do but sit on his ass and potentially play Red Dead Redemption. But moving on from that, Jamie, I'm going to go over to you. Save the best for last, like to say now in terms of talk about a championship, winning season, 3 peats. You can see it on the Korah Football Instagram page. You can see all the excitement. I got some pictures from you guys when the senior team won, and then the Saturday game when you guys won and moved on to NOSSA. It's all this year, you guys been working for this and working to win. All those practices, all those workouts, and all those hard-nosed games, everything, and all the sweat and tears and everything all worked into getting to that point. Talk about how you felt. And I kind of wish I would have got your reaction on a sideline. Unfortunately, the Game Sports Show had to depart early from the game due to some circumstances. But I want to get your reaction, if you can channel that, how you're feeling winning that again. And also, what was the big success factor for you guys to pull away with the W?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. And thanks, Matt, for, really pumping up the program there. 3 in a row. I'm not going to lie, every year it was harder. And Matt can attest to that. The fact that Korah football coattails right off the end of SaberCats, and the last couple years of SaberCats, we've been ultra competitive, so we've been going late into the season. It kind of builds. Like we don't have much of a break. We have maybe 2 weeks off, and then we're right into high school. And so by the end of the season, we're a little burned out. We love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. But I'm not gonna lie. And I'm still an active coach on the staff of the senior team. Even more active now that my practices are over, and I'm all in. I think the kids are ready. But as far as my junior team, 3 in a row, couldn't be prouder. The only thing I might have to work on my guys when they get interviewed in the paper about not being sound a little too confident. A couple of their quotes. Ryan Duncan, I'm talking to you. You may want to ease up if you ever get interviewed again. And the Korah Junior program before that, when Marco was in charge, Marco Bernabucci, he had 2 wins of his own. I had 2 wins separately, so now we're 5 over 7. We've had 5 of the last 7 junior championships in Korah, 3 in a row, so we're really rolling. The St. Charles team that we played, we overpowered them from the absolute start, dominating the run game. I think the senior team rushed for 514 yards. We probably did that and had about 150 yards called back on penalties. Coach Leonard is to my right here laughing because he knows our star running back, Michael Nicoletta, has a great stiff arm, but he just tends to either push off or grab the cage or get stupid little penalties on it all the time. And he must have had 100 yards called back on that. So it is what it is. I was really happy with the game. The big thing is, and I talked about it in the media leading up to the game, was really just wanted us to get back to fundamentals. Tackling, gap assignments, blocking, running with power, finding the hole, not trying to do too much, just trusting your teammates. And I thought that we did that really well, stuck to the game plan, got back to what we did really well at the start of the year, which was run the football. We were able to, we gassed them out too. They were a smaller team, and I think we really proved that, especially at the junior level, the Sioux really dominates Northern Ontario football. But moving forward onto the senior game, talk about that. This is going to be a battle, I think. West Ferris and our Senior Korah Colts are almost the exact same teams. A lot of West Ferris' studs that played last year were grade 12s, and they're all back, especially at the skill positions. They're starting quarterback, starting running back, a couple of their linemen, and a few of their key defensive players are all back. And you look at our team, it's the same thing. A lot of our key linemen, quarterback, skill position guys. I think we upgraded a little bit, especially with Noah Grazy, Tyler Breakin coming up from junior. Those guys really bring another element. Big-bodied receivers, they know what they're doing. And Tyler obviously was league MVP all over the field, completely dominates wherever he is.
Don't forget AK.
And then the emergence of Aaron Kiernan again. I should say re-emergence. He's always there. But him and Jacob Church in the middle locking everything down at linebacker. But I think it's going to be a battle. I really hope it's not as close as last year, 24-23 loss that we had. I think it's going to be an explosive game. I think there's potential for a lot of points to get scored. We've been doing our homework. The guys have been getting ready. I'm pretty excited. I think our offense is primed for another explosion. Maybe not 52 points like we put up on Lively, but I mean, I sure hope so. Without being overconfident, I think the way we've looked indoors, and I think the prep that we've done, and I mean the prep that Tom always does. He always has everything ready.
Yeah, he does.
And our brain trust of coaches that are pooling our resources, really trying to get ready. I think it's gonna be a good one. 2 p.m. on Saturday should be. I'm excited.
Congratulations again to Korah Colts football junior and senior winning, and senior having a chance to take it all this upcoming Saturday. Like I say every week, my famous quote: "Get your asses out to the field to support the local sports team," especially this weekend with Korah Colts football. Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello and Matt Premo. Dustin Grana is in the vicinity, but he is unsure if he's going to be coming on or if he's going to continue his sick leave, I like to call it. We also have a fan of the show, Kyle Leonard, here at the table, who's a big fan of the Game Sports Show, and he's enjoying some of the Molson products and the pizza that the beautiful Alicia White has delivered over to the table.
Easy.
And we're going to take a break to enjoy this pizza. We covered here the local scene in terms of football. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue in the pocket. We're going to talk about Week 9 of the National Football League. Now, before we even jump into the break, I am not going to say at the beginning of that. I have to say it now. Yes, the picks were not in by the panel members for last week. A couple people, yours truly, has to dig into the archives to find the picks for last week. So we will skip what the records are of the trophy, but we are going to make our picks so you can align your pro line according to our expert picks. We know that it's important that especially that I get my picks in, Dave McCaig, because Jamie and Dave were one game off going into last week. But we will just wrap this up right now. We will not overstate the overall Blake Winter Pick'em Trophy, but we will definitely make our picks, and that's coming after the break here. We're just going to listen to our sponsors. You're listening to The Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com or on the website, thegamesportshow.com, or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company, it's a northern thing.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Matt Premo and Jamie Antonello here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill for its wing night. 75-cent wing nights here Wednesdays at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Best wings in town, great beer on tap, great beer available, great beverages available, great atmosphere, great pizza, great everything here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. And we are continuing our In the Pocket segment. And remember on football days to make SportsCenter a part of your day, Thursday, Sunday, and Mondays. So Monday, Thursday, Sunday, I should say in the right order. You have a chance to win 4 tickets for a chance in the Miller Lite Tap Room in Detroit, Michigan. You can make sure you're here. You have to be 18 years of age or older to enter, and for your chance to win, the draws will take place on Sunday night. Now the next draw is going to be for a chance to attend Detroit Lions against the LA Rams. The Rams who lost their first game last week to the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints made some splash today with getting and signing Dez Bryant, and we're going to get to that in just a few moments. We're just going to recap Week 9 before we discuss the Dez Bryant acquisition for the Saints, and then we're going to get to our Week 10 predictions and preview before we have our final break, before we come back for our round table. And hopefully Dustin Grun, who's kind of in the wind right now at the table, hopefully decides to get his comments in for the reaction of the Dez Bryant signing especially. Matt, I'm going to start over to you, but Week 9, I want you to pick a game that piqued your interest, that you liked, that you want to talk about, before we move on to Jamie to do the same.
I think I have to go what's most recent in my mind, watching that Monday Nighter last night, the Cowboys and the Tennessee Titans. Wow, I thought Dallas might actually push for the NFC North or East Division title, but after watching that game last night, I think they're far from it. I don't know how Jason Garrett still has a job or the offensive coordinator still has a job there. I think they both need to go. They have too many. They're too dynamic. Well, I guess the receiving core is a little bit lackluster, but I mean, you have Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. I think they have to be able to put up more than 14 points. I don't know if they're number one defense, but they got to be able to put up more points than 14 against Tennessee Titans. I think Tennessee Titans actually ranked the number one defense in the NFL right now. Still, you got Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott. You get Amari Cooper. I know he's new to the offense, but you have a legit number one receiver. You have one of the best running backs, and you have a very mobile, athletic, big, strong quarterback on your roster, and you can't put up more than 14 points. That offense looked, like I said, looked lackluster. Looked like they couldn't move the ball if they tried. Something's got to give there, and I think it's got to be the coach or the play caller. I think Jason Garrett's been there long enough with not having much success, and I think it's time that he has to go. On the other hand, the Tennessee Titans may be for real. Maybe we just don't realize yet. I mean, they're at the top of their division right now. They look good. Marcus Mariota looked good. Their defense looks really strong. And maybe I think, yeah, you're right. Houston is at the top right now. But I mean, I would Tennessee's in a wild card. Yeah, no, and Tennessee's in a wild card spot. They look good. Mike Vrabel has that defense really going down there. I mean, he was part of the number one red zone D. He was part of the Patriots teams that won multiple championships, and he's got those guys playing the right way down there. So I was impressed with them, but also very unimpressed with Dallas at the same time. It looked like they may get the win early in the first half there. I mean, Amari Cooper first game gets a touchdown, but after that they could not do anything. They couldn't get a first down barely. So interested to see how the rest of their season goes. We were just talking around the table here while we were on break about Dak Prescott maybe having to go. I don't think he's the issue. I like the way he plays quite a bit. I'm a Giants fan. I would take him on my team over Eli right now, especially. So that might not be saying much. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, for sure. It'd be interesting to see where the season goes for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't expect them to make a push. I thought they might, but it doesn't look like they're going to now. So we'll see.
I think anything almost would be better than Eli at this point if you're a Giants fan. But, Jamie, I'm going to go over to you to pick the game. I think I know what game you're picking, but I'm not sure. I think it's quite obvious about which one. And then that's the one I kind of had highlighted. Then I erased it because I know you're going that route. But, Jamie, over to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, regardless of the fact that I'm a Saints fan, you still got to talk about the Saints knocking off the Rams. I mean, kind of lived up to the billing, 45-35, tons of points scored in the Dome. I mean, New Orleans came out to play. New Orleans got a couple big turnovers early in the game, blew it open. I mean, it was 35-17 at half, or 35-18, something like that. And, I mean, LA clawed back and tied the game. And then you saw New Orleans have to get creative. I mean, I think they got a little complacent in the third quarter. They knew they were nursing the lead. I think Sean Payton was trying to eat some clock. But there's a lot of weapons for this Saints team. And, I mean, the fact that Taysom Hill is getting as many snaps as he is, I mean, he's such a threat to run. You saw there was a 4th and 1. They ran a little bit of a play action early in the game. Nothing there, and he just took off for like 9 yards. Ran a guy over. He suck out contact. It was wild. And I mean, LA's still a very good team. That was a high-power game in the Dome. New Orleans had the advantage of being at home. I still think, I mean, that's potential NFC Championship preview game right there. And the fact that New Orleans beat them now throws them in the 1 seed. We'll see if they can maintain that. I mean, the NFC South is a super competitive division. Carolina is flying. Carolina, if I think either Carolina or New Orleans are going to one of them's going to get a bye, one of them's going to be the 5 seed in the NFC. I'm almost positive of that right now. With New Orleans at 8-1, and Carolina, I think, just moved up to 6-2 or 7-2. So absolutely flying. LA, I mean, they're going to rebound from this. They're playing Seattle this week at home, and so I think they're going to be hyped up for that division game for them. But man, I was excited. Drew had a great game, and I mean, Michael Thomas. I mean, the Joe Horn cell phone celebration, pulls it out. Bad time in the game to do that, because then you have to kick off from way back. But I loved it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was a great throwback. Mike, I'm curious though if he had cell phones in both end zones. He must have, yeah.
Bought at a pawn shop.
Yeah, 100%. Bought him at a pawn shop. Wild.
To have money like that. Good point with bringing over the Saints to defeat the undefeated Rams. You know, Drew Brees looking like a child still. Young. He still looks like he's throwing the football young. He's great in the pocket. Now he has another... And, you know, he has Dez Bryant to give the ball to, and the Saints being now ranked number 1 in the power rankings. It's a pretty deadly team to look at. It's pretty funny that Jamie switched teams this year. Now the top team in the National Football League, though. Yeah, he was. But now, Kansas City is the team I want to talk about. That's not the most exciting game of the week, because the game I liked was just the game that was discussed by Jamie there with the Rams and Saints. And I know everyone thinks I like to go with the with the Pittsburgh Steelers, or if you want to go the Baltimore Ravens, but I wasn't too intrigued in that game. I think the Steelers, got a good win though on the road, but I want to go Kansas City, and the reason why I go Kansas City here is because I'm so impressed with their 8-1 record of how they've been able to move the ball around. Patrick Mahomes is an absolute stud. Okay, the guy had 375 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, just under 100 yards or 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce with just about 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill just got 70 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill also had 16 yards rushing. The ball is being shared around. If you look at the receiving statistics, everyone was on the field and had a chance to catch the ball. Chris Conley. You also had Demarcus Robinson. You had these guys getting thrown the ball. Doesn't matter if it's short gains or long gains. The ball was definitely shared a lot. I know the ball was getting thrown a lot to Travis Kelce. Obviously, it seems that Patrick Mahomes likes to throw the ball that route. And Sammy Watkins even had a little bit of game catching 62 yards and having even 2 yards rushing. So the ball is getting thrown around, and that's what I like about the Kansas City game. That's the thing I want to point out the most here, is the ball being distributed evenly throughout the field from this team. Yes, they beat the lonely Cleveland Browns. The Browns are now 2-6-1, and Baker Mayfield is still playing effectively, though. I'm pretty impressed by Baker Mayfield still. He had 1 interception, but he did throw almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb almost ran for 100 yards as well. It was 85 exactly for 1 touchdown. Duke Johnson as well, for receiving at 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, the Baker Mayfield throwing the ball around well as well, but just the Kansas City, I'm just so impressed the way they throw the ball around. It makes it interesting to watch the game, and also how they utilize the football in the field. So that was my game that I kept an eye on, just based on the distribution of the ball and how Kansas City is playing really well. But like I said, I didn't want to be biased this week by going with the Steelers again, and I didn't want to be echoing Jamie for choosing the Saints and the Rams, but that was definitely the game of the week in my opinion. Now, fellas, we all pick our game here on the table. I was going to put Dustin on the spot for it, but I'm not. But I am going to put him on the spot for one thing here. I'm not going to let him slide under the radar here with the Dez Bryant getting signed for the New Orleans Saints. So he just a fart under the radar. I'm gonna ask Dustin this. I'm not approving his sick day today. Dustin, I'm going over to you about your reaction, being the biggest Saints fan that I know. No offense, Jamie. He just turned over, I guess. But talk about Dez Bryant and what that does, undoubtedly speaking, obviously, with the New Orleans Saints offense.
First things first, if he drops a pass to win a game this year, I'll lose my mind. But ultimately, I don't really know what to think about it. My gut feeling is I'm worried, because you have a team that honestly is clicking on all cylinders. They won a track meet with the Rams, which who knew if that was even possible. Their defense is getting tighter. I know they're very tight in the locker room. You see 2 guys like Kamara and Ingram, and they interview together even though they're competing for snaps. These guys are close, right? Very close. And Drew's a great leader, obviously, and Cam Jordan's a great leader, and they got tons of great leaders. And you look back at some of the reports, and some people say Dez was a bad teammate, but then all the other guys in the Dallas locker room really love the guy, right? And he could be a spark plug when things go bad, and he could be that cancer if things go bad and get worse. So who knows? Ability wise, I think they were looking for an upgrade on either Austin Carr or a replacement for Ted Ginn Jr., even though they don't run the same routes. Traquan Smith is more that guy, but Meredith, kind of a big flashy signing in the offseason, coming off an injury, and he's been invisible for the most part if you watch Saints games. The thing with Dez Bryant, he's a big physical man. He can win jump balls very, very easy. I have a feeling they'll play him out of the slot, is my guess.
Will he not be the third? Is it crazy to say that he's the third receiver on that team?
Well, I would guess, because they have Mike Thomas run every route in the book. They have Traquan Smith run a lot of deep routes, and they'll take that third guy and run him a lot of intermediate and short routes, right? Because it's a layered attack that they do oftentimes. Or, Dez, I was asking the guys, because I haven't seen a ton of Dez, and, if he's a big, strong, physical guy, if he buys into blocking too, I mean, it's probably pretty hard to get out of the mitts of that guy. He's got giant hands. He's a big, strong individual. If he gets downfield and blocks and sets the edge or whatever the case is, Kamara and Ingram can benefit. He's going to benefit from having the greatest quarterback of all time throw him the football, right? You go from Dak Prescott to Drew Brees. I mean, Christ, I can catch about 12 touchdowns in the NFL. The Saints obviously know what they're doing, and if there's any coach in the league outside of Sean McVay who can scheme literally anybody open, it's probably Sean
Antonello?
Yeah, aka Sean Payton. So you know what? The Saints have been really doing well on drafting and free agents with Demario Davis and probably Patrick Robinson before he got hurt. So you just have to trust that these guys know what they're doing right now. Like, we're in a very good spot, and I'm going to trust the front office and the head coach and the leadership. And I really hope Dez does well, and I really hope we win the Super Bowl, basically, yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, there's more of like an insurance plan for the Saints. I don't think they're going to expect them to step in and take big-time minutes or snaps or anything like that. I think this is an insurance plan. You get him in there now, start learning the offense, start learning the playbook. If something, God forbid, something happens to one of their top three guys, he can step in. He's a veteran. He's played some playoff games, I guess.
I think the stat was Michael Thomas caught 72 passes, and no other receiver on the team has caught more than 12, which is very odd, right? Like, so is there a big gap there between your number one wideout and a true number two?
Yeah, but I think that a lot of Kamara catches quite a bit out of the backfield as well. So that's another weapon, right? They kind of lean there as opposed to having like a number two receiver. I think Kamara's almost a number two receiver out of the backfield. I'd say the guy's super athletic.
Yeah, and it's different now that Kamara's there, and Ingram, like, the run game's back in New Orleans. Drew doesn't have to throw the ball 50-55 times a game. They're not the Indianapolis Colts this year, right? He has the ability to successfully come in and throw 25 to 35, somewhere in that range, and complete 24 to 34 of those passes. So, it's a completely different Saints team from a couple years ago.
Yeah, and just to continue on, this time of the year, once it gets into December and January, it's a different game, right? Windows are tighter. You need guys that have been there, guys that are smart, have seen a lot of defenses, and can make those tough catches in traffic. And I think Dez is the guy that can do that. So, like I say, more of an insurance plan. Hopefully, contribute down the stretch, help them get to the next level. And I think their goal is the Super Bowl. They got a strong team. Breeze is getting younger. The window's going to be closing for him, and I think they're taking a shot, and they want to win it this year.
So, continuing on with Dez Bryant, right? It's fun to play the theoretical game, right? Dez had an offer from Baltimore. He rejected it. That wasn't a good situation for him, maybe according to Dez. Is the New Orleans Saints the best situation for Dez Bryant? If he got to sign with a team today, is the New Orleans Saints the best situation for Dez? Whether it's recouping his own value, getting that ring, a package of a bunch of reasons, is the Saints the best situation for Dez himself?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you look at Saints right now; they're ranked the top team in the power rank in the NFL. So if he's looking at getting a ring, where else is there? It's either Saints, Rams, not the Steelers. Sorry, Kansas City, and Pats. So I mean, you look at there's about 4 teams right now that are at top of the league that might have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. So
He's fit in Kansas City.
He's joining one of those teams. I don't think there's any room for him in the Rams. They're pretty loaded in the wide receiver,
And they're all fast.
yeah. So I think, in all honesty, it is probably a good fit. You look at the receiving core in New Orleans, and there is room for him to slide in and fit in and play some meaningful snaps. So I think it is a good fit, and especially if he wants to get that ring. And if he can get some meaningful snaps in and prove himself, might give him another contract beyond next year, right?
Dez Bryant to the Saints, I think that's a great move. Great for his career. Definitely if he has a good end of the season. Value goes high, potentially wins the ring. What better situation than for that for Dez Bryant? Now, the other news I want to get to this week is the Vikings claimed former Lions running back Amir Abdullah. Minor news, but again, the Vikings looking to establish that a little bit of a running game. They've had Murray, who's run the football decently. You know, it's not been a great situation there in Minnesota. And Minnesota went on the waiver wire to acquire and claim former Lions running back Amir Abdullah. Now, Dez Bryant moving on to New Orleans. Definitely an upgrade from Dak Prescott. And as Matt Premo said, he still wants Dak over Eli Manning. I'd like to get the listeners' intake if you'd rather have Eli or Dak. I think hashtag Dak would win that one for sure. Now, there's one more thing we got to get to before we get into Week 10 predictions and reviews. Le'Veon Bell.
Give me Eli.
Don't judge me, is what Bell said. Don't judge me. Le'Veon Bell is not playing football this season, as what we kind of hear reports of today, as you know, as you brought Matt. So I want to go around the table, and I'm going to start by saying, as a Steeler fan, I'm pretty fucking pissed off. I'm going to swear there. There's my swear.
But have you seen
There it
the
is.
stats? They're better with
They are better without him, but I would like to see potentially a trade or sign-in trade or something. Get value defensively on the side of the football for him.
You have to sign the 10.
'Cause the fans-
so they both screwed each other.
So Le'Veon not playing is upsetting, but James Conner's definitely running the football like a champ right now, so you can't be disappointed. But I've always said that I think if you have James Conner, even though how good that he's doing, and you have Le'Veon, you plan your game different. You guys as coaches especially will say, let's say you're playing James Conner. Now you have their attention, but let's say you're playing James Conner or Le'Veon Bell. You're watching more Le'Veon than you're watching James Conner. And if I'm incorrect, I'll go to Jamie in a sec here, but I'm just saying I think it's a different impact on the game when you have Le'Veon.
Different way to.
Different, potentially. But I'm happy with Pittsburgh. I'm happy with Pittsburgh's season still, despite some of the disappointments. But Le'Veon not playing is upsetting as a fan to watch that talent out on the football field. But I don't blame him either because of the situation. You want what you want, and he's deserved to get what he wants in the National Football League, in my opinion. But Jamie, I'll go over to you.
All right. First of all, I mean, Pittsburgh's beaten Baltimore twice already this year. That was the big hump for them in the division.
They lost to Pittsburgh.
No, they beat Baltimore both times.
No, they lost.
Okay, well, regardless, they're still all right. They're 1-1. Sorry, my bad. You had me all fired up there. You still have Antonio Brown. Like, why do you forget about him? Why would you not bring him up? It doesn't change.
And Juju.
I mean, yeah, you just can't. If you're gonna double Vance McDonald, like there's guys at every level for Pittsburgh on their offense and I mean, it's hard to you either got in the NFL especially, you either gotta try and really take away one receiver, but you can't do that against Pittsburgh. You kind of have to play them basic. You got to take some chances. You got to really trust your film work to try and see tendencies. And even still, I mean, Ben's a veteran quarterback. He's going to check out of things. He'll see. Connor's a young guy. They can really just they can unload on him. Like, they don't care. If they throw him 450 carries, that's kind of the Pittsburgh way. But I completely disagree with you as far as teams planning differently. I mean, just because of Antonio Brown being that major factor, in my opinion.
I'll go before Matt. There's a combination of things. Throughout the season, you see their O-line say, blocking for Le'Veon is a bit different than blocking for James Conner. James Conner hits the hole hard, and it's a fast block, whereas Le'Veon sits back, bounces, and and lets those guys go out and make the blocks for them. And he takes his time. Also, James Conner's like leading the league in yards after first contact, or most yards after, I don't know. It's one of those impressive stats. He's catching the ball as good as LeVon Bell ever did. And I think Mike Tomlin said it perfectly. They want volunteers, they don't want prisoners. And I love the quote. It's such a great quote, right? If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. It almost galvanized the team, right? For so long, it was always like, Le'Veon might come back, Le'Veon might come back, Le'Veon might come back, and it's that distraction. And then finally, I feel like somewhere in their little win streak here where they've been playing better football, the team just basically said, you know what, forget it. Like, let's not even bother giving this thing a second thought, because we're rolling. We're a team. We got guys here. We're all bleeding for each other. We're all brothers. Obviously, this guy doesn't believe in that. So, let's tighten up the room. Let's tighten up on the football field. And that's what they've been doing. And they just beat Baltimore, who is a good team, but Baltimore was never really in that game either. So, I mean, Le'Veon Bell or not, the Steelers are the third best team in the AFC after Kansas City, New England, and I don't know which order they're in. And, their defense is improving, which was a major issue for them to begin with. And then, they don't need Le'Veon at this point anymore. This guy is doing absolutely everything you can ask from a running back, and then some. He's been incredible, and they should just put Le'Veon in the rear view, slap the transition tag on him next year, get a compensation pick back, and just move on. Right, because football, the salary cap only goes so far, and a running back's not where you're going to spend your money, because next guy up is, God knows what you got, right? So there you go. Don't need him.
Yeah, I think it goes to prove why you see the tendency now for teams in the draft to kind of wait to take running backs, because I think there's so many that they're so good, and there's not much fall off. Yeah, Saquon Barkley may be he may be the exception, but that's the every once in a while thing. You don't see that all the time. You don't see that type of talent. I think that Le'Veon Bell is obviously, he was one of the best running backs in the league. I think the one difference might be from Connor's when they flex him out to receiver spot, and you have to get a linebacker go out there and cover him in space might be a bit different. But Connor, he's proven himself to catch the ball well. I mean, that's the only difference I see. But obviously the rushing yards are there. He's actually a little bit better than Le'Veon's stats from last year. I think this all comes down. I know that this all started with "Don't judge me," the quote from Le'Veon Bell. I'm not judging him. I think both sides made business decisions. The Steelers made a business decision. We're not going to pay him. We don't think that he should pay the way he wants to be paid. And he made a business decision to say, I'm not going to show up and risk getting hurt because I'm going to get paid next year. Someone's going to pay me next year. It may not be the Steelers, but someone will pay him the money that he wants. I guarantee you there will be a team, maybe the Cleveland Browns or, you know what I mean, a team that...
Lions, Jets,
Lions, yeah. Someone is going to...
No, they got Marlon back.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Take that back.
Someone's going to pay him. Someone's going to pay him. He's going to get the money he wants. And he's going to set himself up. He's going to set himself up well for the rest of his life next year. I know it. So the Steelers don't want to pay him. Someone will want to pay him. I'm not judging him. I'm not judging the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be fine without him. And Le'Veon will be fine without the Steelers next year. I just want to see him get suited back up and play football again as a football fan, because he is exciting to watch.
Good points, fellas. Very good points. Won't argue any of that, because I don't think I'll win that argument anyways. I don't go 3 against 1 in arguments, because I'll lose that. But would have liked to see him this year. But again, Steelers, James Conner is definitely doing well in his absence anyhow. Fellas, we're going to move right into Week 10. And what we're going to talk about here on Week 10 is we're going to list the games. You know the drill, fellas. We're going to pick our games that we think are going to win, assist our listeners, and help them pick their Pro Line tickets this week. And also, we will not be recapping our records individually for the Blake Winter Pick'em Trophy. We will do that for sure next week. I'll have the full update with that, I promise you. But we're going to go around the table. We're going to go start with Matt. I'm going to get Dustin to get this in, and also Jamie. We're just going to go around the table and pick who we think is going to win our Week 10. And then to conclude our In the Pocket, we will talk about some preview for the games as well, which games that you are watching out for and that we are watching out for. Fellas, to start off the predictions, I'm going to go to Matt first. The Panthers and the Steelers for Thursday Night Football.
I'm up.
You're up. Steelers and Panthers, Preeps.
Oh, I'm not gonna make any fans here around the table. I know, and it's in Pitt, right? The game's in Pitt. I think Pitt's favored by 3.5 right now. You know what? I've been on the Carolina Panthers bandwagon the last couple weeks, and it's paid dividends for me, so I'm going to stick with it. I got McCaffrey in my fantasy, and he's been a stud, so I'm going to go with the Panthers.
In my pool, I picked the Steelers. No, you know what? I believe it's going to be the Panthers. I think the NFC South race gets tighter and tighter by the week. Carolina's offense is really figuring it out. Cam Newton's completing something like 68% of his passes, which is new for him, and he also runs the ball extremely well, and McCaffrey is a pretty versatile weapon now, and man, Carolina is a team that my Saints have to play 2 more times this year, and it's those are going to be nail biters, man, and I can't wait. But I think the Panthers are really rolling, so they're going to go into Pittsburgh and get like a really ugly battle win out of Pittsburgh is my guess.
Carolina? Yeah, I'm picking Carolina as well. I think both teams coming off division wins. Carolina beating Tampa, and Pittsburgh knocking off Baltimore. I don't think it's going to be a massive upset. I could be wrong, but I'm feeling the Panthers right now. They're a scary team. I legitimately think, and I said this before, that either Carolina or New Orleans, one of them's going to have a bye in the NFC, and the other team's going to be the 5 seed. That's just the way it's going to be.
I'm not letting a sweep. I'm going Pittsburgh winning at Heinz Field. Of course, I'm not foolish to pick Carolina. I'm going to go that confident. Short and sweet for me. Next game, Redskins, Buccaneers. And this order is Premo, Dustin, Jamie, myself. Just so everyone doesn't get confused, it's Dave McCaig alongside Matt, Dustin, and Jamie here at SportsCenter. We're going to go to game 2 in our prediction here. Preems, Skins, or Bucks?
Oh, the Bucks didn't look too good last week, so it's really tough to pick them. I know Winston got benched. You got Fitzmagic back in there. Didn't necessarily have a great week. Skins come off a tough loss as well, so I think this is a tough game, but the Skins, they're still at the top of that NFC East. I think they're looking to stay there, and I think they really dig deep and they get the win on the road this week, so I got the Redskins.
Bucks, Skins?
Yeah.
Skins.
Yeah, I'm picking Washington as well. I don't think they lose to back-to-back NFC South teams, despite how good that division is, but Tampa's in the basement there for sure. And Atlanta was rocking and rolling last week versus them.
Your former team, Jamie. Buccaneers, no love for the Bucks. Redskins, for sure, clean sweep. I don't even really want to go around the table for this one. The next pick that we have to choose is Kansas City or Arizona. Do we have an agreement that everyone's picking Kansas City over Arizona? Is this or is someone going to go wise here and pick Arizona? Because if you are, I'll give you the mic. I want you to explain your reason why.
I think a better question would be who's going to pick Arizona to cover the 16.5 points?
Because you're making money.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough. Obviously everyone's picking Kansas City to win that game. I think we're around the board. We're Chiefs, but I think the cover. You're going to take the plus 17.
Are you kidding me?
That kind of money?
Yeah.
It has Dustin written all over it.
Of course, man. 17 points. Arizona's defense is horrible. And Mahomes is coming, and their offense is horrible. So I'll take the 17 points for a pint against Matt.
How much money?
Let's put some money on Bet365 and see. We'll pool our money.
I'll see what kind of payout it is.
Yeah.
So you're all taking Chiefs, though, right? That's the question.
Yes.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Good. Jets and Bills. Those poor Buffalo Bills. Hey, the Jets or Bills? Preems. Wah. Is that the worst game of the week right there? I think it is.
Yeah, Sam Darnold is also not playing this week, so Although they got McCown. McCown's their backup. I'm a McCown fan, actually. He may step in and do the job. I think the Jets win this for sure. Peterman has still throwing more touchdown passes to the opponents than he has to his own receivers. So saying that, I am going with the Jets.
I'm going to take the Jets in a big 2-1 victory. It's going to be a rouge and a safety. In some great defense paired with horrible offense. 2-1 Jets. 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 The Winnipeg Jets would score more points than the New York Jets.
Dustin apparently still thinks that Buffalo is playing their Toronto series with Canadian rules.
3-down football.
Yeah, that's going to be a terrible game. I think McCown steps in, though, and kind of manages that game, and they cruise to victory. Buffalo is a disaster. Jets.
You know what? I want to be a freaking fool like I am every time. I'm going Bills. Screw it. I'm going to say it. My upset. I always pick one upset. Is this even an upset? I don't even know if this is an upset. I don't even know if that's. I don't even think it is.
Arizona beating.
Kansas would be the upset.
Is an upset.
Yeah, that would be the upset. Okay. So, but I'm gonna go Bills. You know what? I feel bad for my Bills, or for fans of the Bills, not my Bills. Fans of the Bills, because in my mind, I just feel bad. I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I haven't seen a losing season in who the hell knows how long. Buffalo sucks, but I'm still taking them over the Jets. I don't know why. I just feel like it, Jamie. Is that a bad call? Yes, it is. But I like that. I like to be risky. Next game, fellas. Jags and the Colts. Holy Christ. I don't know. Some games are tough here. Colts and Jags. Preems.
Well, I know both teams coming off bye. Is it? Both teams coming off bye. Wow. Both rested. Some time to prepare for their opponent. Man, I think the Colts are overperforming right now, and I think that the Jags are underperforming. I think maybe the Jags get things turned around coming off bye, get things straightened out in that locker room. I think it seemed a bit disarray there before they went on bye. I got the Jags turning things around and getting a win against the Colts on the road.
I got the Korah Colts this weekend.
We're going to get Bad Blake version.
We're going to get the boat this weekend. The boat.
You know, that interview where he's like, what are you going to do if you were in a quarterback? He's like, probably construction, ripping cigs.
That's what he did on the bye week.
Look into your future, Blake. Kidding. Whatever. Anyways, I'm taking the Colts. Colts will win their division, too, at the end of the year. So, going Colts. Andrew Luck's just scorching hot right now. The O-line is an O-line again, somehow. Quentin Nelson. They're running the football. I mean, I like where the Colts are heading, and they're just going to throw more disarray in the old Jacksonville pot right now. So, Colts.
Colts are not winning that division.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction from Dustin. I mean, because Houston's 6-3, I think Indy's 4-4 right now. Somebody may correct me on that, but like that, there's 2.5 games back. That's tough. 3-5. Sorry. Yeah, so that's a tough one. But I'm picking Indy in this game for the simple reason of coming off a bye. Who do I think is going to prep better, Andrew Luck or Blake Bortles? And I mean, a lot of that comes down to the coaching staff. I mean, I know that's. I think
Tom Coughlin is there.
Tom Coughlin is there for sure. He's trying to get some culture change and get him back in shape. But I still think Indy at home. I'm going to take Indy.
I did have the Jaguars originally written down, but I changed it. I'm going to go with the Colts. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with Andrew Luck, potentially getting back in there and just firing the ball. He's been hot right now. Lions and the Bears. Primo, Detroit's own or Chicago's own?
Oh, Lions season's done. I think that trade, when you trade away maybe your best offensive weapon outside of Stafford, I think they just kind of said that this season's done. We're going to look to rebuild. We're not going to win the division this year. Our division's too good. And I think the Bears, they're at the top of the division, so things are going well for them. I got them at home beating the Lions.
Bears.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of commentary here. I'm taking the Bears.
Clean sweep. Let's keep the ball rolling. Moving forward, Bears. That's what I pick. I should really maybe state that on air. Saints and Bengals. I kind of want to go wrong. I think this is an easy pick, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Full surprise. But Saints Bengals.
I think if the Bengals were healthy, this might be a different, not as easy as a pick. I mean, AJ Green's out. Is running back playing for the Saints? I don't know if he's. I think he's might be still injured as well. So I think the Saints win this. They're obviously coming off a big win. I think they ride that wave and they get a win against Cincy.
This is what I'm interested in. Cincinnati's no joke this year. They're doing well. They're missing AJ, which sucks because I want battle-tested guys out there to really push our team to become better, especially our secondary. But we're outside, which is typically our kryptonite. And so what I'd like to see the Saints do is really kind of show that they can play in any weather, in any stadium, and indoor, outdoor, turf or grass kind of thing. So I think New Orleans will win. I don't think it's as big as bad a beating as most people think it's going to be. I just want to see them do well outside, and since he's going to give them a tough test.
I'm not trying to get it.
Yeah, I'm picking New Orleans here, but I think Dustin kind of took the words out of my mouth. I mean, just the fact that it's an outdoor game, early November in Cincy, weather's probably not going to be the best. You expect cold, potential rain, snow, whatever. Not sure what the forecast changes changes all the time. So, but regardless, I'm picking New Orleans. I think they squeak it out no matter what.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just going to answer this question. You guys went around the table and talked. I'm just going to say the Saints. That's it. Moving forward, Titans, Patriots. I know what Justin's pick is on this game because he absolutely hates the Patriots, and it's pure bias. And I might follow his suit, so there's my spoiler. But, Breams.
I think that should be a good game. This is one I'm going to want to tune into on Sunday. I think it looks like Gronk should be healthy to play this week. Maybe Sony Michel comes back as well. I think they get a couple guys healthy in that offense. I still think that the Patriots offense is going to be too strong for that Titans defense. That Titans defense is very good. Watching that Monday night game, they've proved that they're very good. They fly to the ball. They got a bunch of great athletes on the defense side of the ball. But, I mean, Tom Brady and that offense, I think it's going to be still too much. I got the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots. Tennessee's pulled off some pretty spectacular things considering, and their defense is really humming. But if anybody knows how to scheme out a defense to totally make an offense inept, it's Bill Belichick. And I'm not necessarily convinced Tennessee has the offense to really make things happen against New England. And New England's defense isn't even that good this year. It's just they get coached so well. I just see Tennessee spinning their tires in the mud all night, and Tom Brady's just going to slowly pick them apart and wear them down. So Sony Michel back for New England, so there's going to be a different wrinkle. Gronk back, Gordon stepping up. Too many weapons, New England.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went back and forth here on this game a little bit. I'm picking New England. I think it's gonna be one of those classic close games that New England's in all the time. Early in the fourth quarter, though, New England's just gonna break their opponent finally. And I think Bill Belichick has already had his fill of former players/coaches beating them, and when Matt Patricia and the Lions beat them. So I think he's gonna be ready to go. Tennessee coming off. I mean, you could call it a short week. They played the Monday Nighter, so that's one less day of prep. But I'm going to go New England. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think they prove why they're the top of the AFC year in, year out.
I'm bold prediction week. It paid off 1 week, especially in our Pick'em challenge. They give me up. I'm doing it. Go Titans. Titans taking the win on New England. I don't want the Patriots to sweep. Falcons, Browns, Breams.
Wow. As much as the Falcons, as much as the Browns have had a little bit of success this year, things are kind of in disarray at this point in the season. I mean, their OC and head coach gone. I think the Falcons take this one in a landslide.
What game are we talking about?
Browns.
Where is it? I'm taking the Browns. On the record, in my football pool that has money on it, I'll take the Falcons. But hear me out. Southern Dome team going to Cleveland. Butthole of the world. Right? It's going to be outside. Browns fans are going to get rowdy. And Cleveland has been in every game this year, I feel like. So if there's any defense that they could pick apart, it's the non-existent one on Atlanta. So, you know what? Bruce Irving, strap up your cleats and see what you could do. But you know what, man? I'm going to take the Browns surprise upset. That's my surprise of the week. Go Browns. Go Baker. Bake show.
Wow, what a decision by Dustin there. I'm going Atlanta. I just think for the same reasons that Preem said. I mean, their coaching staff is gone. I think.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you did. That's why, because you weren't listening to Primo. So that's a bold prediction. There's no way I pick Cleveland in any of these games the rest of the year unless they're playing Buffalo. So I'm going Atlanta.
I'm going to go with the Falcons as well. Dustin almost convinced me to go over to the Browns side there, but you can't change what you first write down. So I'm going with the Falcons. Chargers, Raiders. Do we go around the table? Is this an easier pick too? I think I had this down as one of the easier picks. I had Chargers down for everybody, but I don't know.
Yeah, Chargers are kind of the team that no one's been talking about. They've had a ton of success this year. I mean, they've been really good. I know not a lot of their games are televised on TV, so people don't watch them play that much, but they're a solid team. Phillip Rivers is having a great season right now. Melvin Gordon is one of the elite running backs in the NFL. I think we all have the Chargers here.
Chargers who?
Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. Oakland's a bit of a disaster. Going with the Chargers.
Can I get you to say the KOI banana split, please, for the love of God, Dustin, the Gruden?
Man, I really love that Derek Carr guy. You know, he really loves football, man. And I had him in the room the other day, and I was like, Derek, what does this play look like to you? And he was like, man, that looks like the WX Box 460. And I was like, come on, man, you know that's a WX Box PS4 banana split. And he goes, no, it's not. It's the WX Box 460. And I said, I was just testing you, man. I like that. Give me a first-round pick.
I love it. I had to do that just to spice up that. Seahawks, Rams. Around the table, are we all picking Rams? I also had Rams picked here, but it could be wrong.
Divisional game, eh? These are
in Seattle.
in LA.
No, in LA.
In LA, divisional games are always tight, but you know what? Rams get things back on track. I got the Rams.
Rams.
Was that Dustin's pick or was that John Gruden's pick?
Man, I'm just trying to get on everybody's good side so I get all the picks in the first round of the 2019 draft. That's how you turn around a team. I'll tell you what, you get rid of Khalil Mack and you just draft another defensive end in the first round who's like Khalil Mack but not Khalil Mack.
Classic.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm going LA. I think it's a close game. I mean, Seattle's playing pretty good right now, and they're going to fight for a wild card spot. But I think the Rams are just going to be out for blood after losing to the Saints last week.
Does Todd Gurley run for 3 touchdowns at 190 yards? I don't even know. Maybe. I think he's just full of blood to get that. He didn't have the best week last week. Well, he had a decent week. He had 30 points, but I'm still picking Gurley to come back in a big fashion. I agree with Jamie with the Rams coming back for blood. I'm going with the Rams. Packers, Dolphins. We're on the table. 3 more games, fellas, to talk about.
Well, I'm streaming the Packers defense despite all the injuries they had last week because I think the Dolphins are that bad. And it's in Lambeau. I got the Packers.
Packers.
Brock Osweiler, that's all I need to say. Going Packers.
You know what? I don't know, fellas. I like my bold picks this week. Dolphins. Picking the Dolphins. In my own fantasy world.
Well, you suck at fantasy.
No, I not. This year I do. This year I'm horrible at fantasy. Cowboys, Eagles. Preems.
Oh, another divisional game. Seems to be a lot of divisional games this week. Sunday night, you're going to be in primetime television. So we get to watch.
Neither do I, man.
We get to watch the Cowboys in primetime again. The Eagles, you know what? The Eagles are going to win this game. This may be the game where they actually decide to fire Jason Garrett, hopefully. If one more loss in prime time, I think the Cowboys, I think it's going to be mandatory for them to fire Jason Garrett if they lose. I'm taking the Eagles, 100%. They picked up Golden Tate. They're making moves to get back to the playoffs and make another run at championship. I got the Eagles.
Maybe they'll hire Joel Quenneville as the coach for the Cowboys?
I'm going to take the Eagles, man, because Jason Garrett is only the second best ginger-haired coach in the league next to John Gruden, my favorite coach. So I hope Jason Garrett gets fired so I can sign an 11-year deal worth $110 million to coach the Dallas Cowboys next year.
Oh man, yeah. I'm kind of curious to see what Dallas team we get. I mean, if they really realize that they had a terrible offense last week, so see if they can get anything going. I'm still taking Philly. Yeah, they are. They're coming off a bye, so they had that week extra week to prep. Guys are going to be healthy. I think Carson Wentz is finally back in form after having to sit the first couple weeks. It takes time. He didn't have a preseason. That's usually what that's for. So I think, to be honest, I think Philly rolls him. And I don't know if Jason Garrett gets fired, though. That's not really a Jerry Jones move. Yeah. I agree with you, though, that the change is needed there. He's like 9 seasons career 500 guy. In no other place other than Cincinnati does he keep his job. So I'm going Philly.
I'm going to go Eagles. I think it's a clean sweep of the Eagles. Last game, fellas, and then we got a break. We still got a couple topics about the round table before we wrap up the show tonight. Niners and Giants in San Francisco. Going to the Giants fan on my left, Matt Premo.
I don't know how the Giants aren't favored in this game. I'm just looking at this. They're not. San Fran's favored by 2.5 right now.
Nick Mullins.
It must be. I don't know. This guy had a great...
He's verified on Twitter now. So
he is verified. He had a great week last week, but I don't think he can pull it off again. I think the Giants, they get their second win of the season. I cannot... if they lose, I don't know. I might have to look at switching teams like Jamie. We'll see.
You can always switch to the Saints. Pretty good fans. Honestly, if the Giants just turned around and handed the ball off 55 times to Saquon Barkley, they'd win the game. Honestly, he's bound to break at least 4 of them for touchdowns. So just volume it up on that guy. Other than that, San Fran, congrats Mullins on a debut. Hope it doesn't hurt too bad when you crash back to earth this week and throw 3 interceptions to a terrible defense. Jenkins with 2 picks. Giants win.
Man, this might be the hardest game for this might be the hardest game for me to pick.
Even hard between the Jets and Bills?
Oh, jeez, easy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go San Fran in a close one. Sorry, Preem.
Oh, Jamie's walking home.
Yeah. Whoops. Poor decision. Maybe I'll change that back. No. No, I'm going San Fran. I think the Giants are just not good. I think Eli's just gonna make too many mistakes. Bottom line, I think he's gonna gift San Fran's defense a couple easy ones.
Giants. Sorry, Jamie. Let me tell you, if I have a good week, I'm going to be in first with all these bold predictions. I can't sacrifice another prediction. But that is the picks this week for us. Make sure you trust us because Jamie and I do have a very high success rate here. We're over 50%. Well, I was almost over 50% going into last week. Jamie was over 50. So definitely those will be our picks for week 10. And just to say game of the week, fellas, I want to go around the table and quickly say for the one game of the week that I am definitely keeping my eyes on, Arizona and Kansas City. This is my game of the week. Just kidding. Absolutely just kidding. Just kidding. The game of the week for me, actually, and kind of staring at it a little bit, I was torn between the Steelers game, but I'm going to go Cowboys-Eagles because of the divisional game and that impact on it. I feel like the Cowboys always give Philadelphia a good little run. And the Sunday night game in Philly, hostile environment, Cowboys, it's going to be a good football game to watch. That's my game of the week. Just go around, get your game of the week to watch. Brief, quick, before we go to our break. We still have a round table.
Yeah, I don't know. That Cowboys-Eagles, I think you could still lose that game and still be in the running in that NFC East because that division is so bad. I think I'm going to go with the Steelers and Panthers game. That's going to be a great game. Both playoff teams. I think both teams make the playoffs this year. So you get two elite teams in the NFL. It's too bad it's on a Thursday night with short rest. Some of those times those games aren't quite as good when that happens. But I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm hoping that I'm right and the Panthers get the win. But I think it's going to be entertaining regardless.
Outside of the Jets and Bills, there isn't a more exciting game than the Rams and Seahawks. I was sarcastic about the Jets and the Bills, by the way. But I say Rams Seahawks because Seattle seems to be that pesky team that can win at any time if Russell Wilson gets a little magic in him. And the Rams are coming off a tough loss to the Saints. And, I'm really looking for... from now on, who stumbles first, the Saints or the Rams? Because ultimately right now, as a Saints fan, the road to the Super Bowl goes through New Orleans, and that is really bad news for the rest of the league, and the rest of the NFC. So, I mean, if Seattle can somehow find a way to as Jason Witt would say, pull it out of his head, or whatever that stupid thing that he said was. Pull a rabbit out of his head. If Seattle can win this game and the Rams go to 2 losses, it's a massive win for New Orleans and a massive win for me. But, I mean, I'm glued to that one, and I hope it's competitive.
Yeah, that was kind of the game I had circled as well. Because LA only beat Seattle. It was 33-31 when they faced each other earlier in the season in Seattle, and that was a heck of a game. Todd Gurley ran for 1,000,000 yards in that game again. And Seattle's a legit team. But the fact that Dustin already broke that one down, I'm going to go with New England, Tennessee. I think it's just the connotations alone, just with Mike Vrabel returning back. I mean, Bill Belichick's been in the league so long, and he has so many, you could say, disciples of football that guys are...
Everyone in Tennessee played for and or worked for New England, like literally everyone. Yeah. So, Vrabel, the GM, Logan Ryan, there's so many. Deion Lewis, yeah. So that one's probably a pretty tight game.
Yeah, and if Mike Vrabel breaks out the boxing gloves in practice again, forget about it.
Oh, we're buying boxing gloves.
And me and Prem are all in for Cats. But yeah, I think that's an interesting game to see. In Tennessee, so it adds an extra wrinkle. You never know.
Good pick and good segment, fellas, with our round table in the pocket edition. We're going to take a quick break and stay McCaig alongside Matt Premo, Jimmy Antonello, and Dustin Grana here at SportsCenter. When we come back, we've got a couple topics we're going to bring up at our roundtable before we wrap up our show. We have about 10 minutes left on the show, maybe 15 if I can buy time with the producers there. We'll see. I usually get what I want. My friends know that. Little giggles. We'll be right back after these messages. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Matt Premo, Dustin Gronin, and Jamie Antonello, live from Sportscenter Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, the Sioux's best sports bar, rated for the third year in a row. And make sure you make SportsCenter a part of your football nights. That's Monday, Thursday, and Sunday for a chance to win 4 tickets to the Miller Lite Tap Room in Detroit, Michigan to watch the Lions. The next draw will be for a chance to win a game between the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. Draws will take place Sunday nights here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and we've had an action-packed show as always here at SportsCenter with the great panel members, and I want to say thank you again to listeners for coming on by to make us a part of your night. We have one more segment we're going to get to. It shouldn't be more than 10 to 15 minute range, and we'll try to keep that promise as we have a couple topics to bring up at the round table. As I almost dropped our recording device, but I caught that nice and quick and stuttered my words, but we're going to not edit that out. We're probably going to tell them to keep that in there because it keeps the realism going. But Preems, Jamie, Dustin, the first table topic to the round table that we're going to be bringing up here is the Toronto Raptors. We talk about this, the NBA, on every Wednesday edition, and we do invade it with Toronto Raptors edition, and we also like to discuss the Detroit Pistons as much as possible as well in terms of our Michigan listeners, but this one is really going to go around the Toronto Raptors, and the Raptors are 10-1, first in the East. Early still, though, 11 games in, still a lot of games to go, 70 games plus to still go in the season. So, and as we're sitting here and recording, the Raptors are up on the Sacramento Kings right now. It's just up on a couple points as we sit here to record, and by the time this is uploaded, the game will be completed. But the Raptors looking quite solid. And I'm actually going to start with Jamie about the Toronto Raptors, about how impressive a 10-1 start is and how good that is for a chance to maybe retain Kawhi Leonard?
I mean,
we talk about this every week.
Winning games for the Raptors is huge right now. I mean, anything's going to help. Again, still, I think we're like barely started the season. Still, like the things in the East will really start to take form once you hit like the 30-game mark, and then even more when you hit the All-Star break, and then obviously things are going to change. So. I think the fact that they're winning games and Kawhi has sat out 3 or 4 games already this year, something like that, maybe 2. But the fact that they dominated the Lakers without Kawhi, I mean, that's a testament. I mean, I think it really proves that Toronto's a deep team. I think Nick Nurse has those guys playing really well right now. I think they clearly like them. I mean, they're a young team. I think they're easy to coach. Lowry's dominating. I think has like more assists himself than half of the East right now. It's crazy.
He has 39, whatever, 40 more assists than the next closest guy, which is nuts, ludicrous.
Absolutely insane. So, I mean, it's 100% promising, and I'm going to keep watching. I really hope, and once those guys keep meshing even more, I think it's all bodes well for Toronto keeping Kawhi, but you never know.
Yeah, the thing with I was like worried about what the trade would be when they traded DeRozan, but I think you saw like a shift in paradigm with their offensive philosophy and the way they play basketball. Anybody who watched Toronto basketball knew that the Raptors were good regular season when defense wasn't, at a premium, and then when you hit the playoffs and things tighten up, that isolation basketball that the Raptors used to like to play is outdated. It's prehistoric, some might say. Raptors. So getting rid of a guy like DeRozan, even though he's a perennial all-star and a very good player, his game didn't mesh well, and now you see Kyle Lowry leading the league by a mile in assists, right? It just goes to show you that the offensive philosophy is different. If it's built off of drive, dish, kick, shoot, space the floor kind of offense, whereas it used to be isolation ball where it's Lowry and everybody kind of moves out of the way and he tries to take a guy one-on-one and then he dishes to DeRozan and everyone moves out of the way, and then you flip it, and on the defensive side you almost have a 1 through 5 that can guard any position on the court. So now you're not chasing through screens and this and that. You're switching every screen, and you got a guy like Pascal Siakam who's been unbelievable for them on both ends of the court, extremely efficient. JV's been unbelievable. Serge Ibaka looks like his glory days at OKC. And then, Kyle Lowry's a dog on defense too, man. That guy works extremely hard, and he's just a pesky defender. But they rotate defense so well, and they're not concerned as to who's guarding who like some other teams, because they have speed, they have length, they have size, and their efficiency on defense is unbelievable. Now they're making the case, better than OKC made the case last year, that Kawhi shouldn't go anywhere. This team's legit. It's built to win now. It's built to win for years. And, they have all the pieces, and he fit seamlessly in there. It's incredible. Whether he leaves or he doesn't leave, I don't think it's really a doomsday scenario for the Raptors, because they're also auditioning to bring in another superstar that fits that bill of you can play D and play O and fit in. Like, basketball is very much a team sport. Houston Rockets have a lot of individually good players, but they're falling apart right now, right? Who knows? The Melo effect. But, the Toronto Raptors, they're a great team without Kawhi. So they're going to be a good team no matter what. Ideally, I'd love to see them keep Kawhi. But if they lose Kawhi, I don't think it's a doomsday. I think they could pitch another really good free agent. And you know what? Be the face of a nation, not the face of a city.
Preems.
Yeah, I'm really, Dustin, I'm actually impressed. I'm glad you brought up Pascal Siakam. I think this guy is the most improved player in the NBA from last year. He's unreal. He's having a great start to the season. He is so athletic and long, and I think this guy's only been playing basketball for like 7 or 8 years. Like, this game is still new to him, and he's playing at such a high level in the best league in the world. So it's impressive what he's doing. Just kind of reiterate what Dust said. I mean, I think the offense runs a lot smoother without DeMar DeRozan there. I think the ball used to get stuck with him on offense. I think they flow better. The ball moves, and they whoever's open's taking the shot, right? It's not going to DeMar, and it's not reliant on him. I think they're sharing the ball really well. And again, Dustin impressed me with his comment about the Raptors defense. They have guys that can match up against multiple positions, so they can dictate the way they want, the style of game they want to play. They don't have to match up against other teams. They don't have to have certain guys on the floor to guard certain players. They have guys that can go up and down the lineup and guard various positions, which makes them flexible in their rotation, and makes them hard for other teams to defend against as well. I think if you watched the 76ers game, Kawhi, what he did to Ben Simmons there, it just completely shut him down. I think his defense is unreal, and in a big-time situation, in a big-time playoff game, that could really be the difference when points are hard to come by, and you have one of the better defensive players in the year, and now in Kawhi Leonard on your team. I think it's gonna pay off a lot in the end. I hope he stays. I hope he's enjoying Toronto. He seems like he's fitting in well. But again, if he doesn't, there's a lot of other good pieces on this Toronto roster, and they've built it the right way through the draft and free agent signings, and these guys are a very good team. I know it's early, as Jamie mentioned, but if you watch the way these guys play, I don't see it the season taking much of a downturn. Obviously, they're going to lose games here and there, and that's just inevitable, but I think you're going to see them at the top of the East come the end of the year.
I just got one more thing. I mean, I was watching Timmins, and I'm going to steal right from what they said, but as far as major markets go, and Toronto can be considered, I mean, population-wise, it's a major market. It's a quiet city. The professional athletes in the city don't get pestered, kind of like LA and New York. You're not under that microscope as much, which I think, I mean, because hockey's the focus, which is, and so I think, like, for a guy like Kawhi, like, that might be a better fit for his personality.
It snows there. He wants to go to California.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how the season goes.
For all you listeners out there, imagine this: Jurassic Park playoffs, NBA Finals. The next night, Stanley Cup Finals. Toronto doubling up, potentially 2 teams that can go to the finals. Can you imagine the lunacy down there? My favorite, personally, is Jurassic Park. The street is just an incredible scene down there during Raptors games, and I think that's incredibly unique. You don't see that in other places, and I think that's if us as Canadians and Torontonians or whoever want to show Kawhi what we're all about, get out there in the cold, man, and cheer these guys on and make enough noise that they hear you on the inside of the ACC, Scotiabank Center, ACC.
ACC for life.
ACC for life.
Can think we have it in the budget to an on-site to Jurassic Park, maybe?
It's already in the works. I'm surprised. It's more so not. It's actually for Maple Leaf Square, but I could try to fit it in for Jurassic.
I'll be at Real Sports.
I'll be with Dustin.
Not if we get those on-scene interviews, though.
Yeah. Hey. And just to kind of close it off, I wanted to mention LeBron's comment after the Raptors-Lakers game. He mentioned that right now the Raptors are the team in the East to beat. So I mean I think that's a pretty big statement. I mean LeBron obviously he's the best player in the NBA and he's taking notice. And he's a smart guy. I mean, he's been in the league a long time. He's a veteran now, and he knows when teams playing good basketball. And even he's stating that the Raptors are the team to beat in the East.
The Raptors are the team to beat in the East, absolutely. But you got to watch out for those Bucks. I'm a big Giannis fan, and I still think the Bucks are a good basketball team because of him. But the Raptors are Parker. Sorry, Parker. But moving on from with the Raptors and the idea of Dustin saying about Jurassic Park and Maple Leaf Square potentially being one thing, that's pure excitement, sends chills down a Toronto fan's spine, absolutely. But Kawhi Leonard staying there would be nice and I love the example of being the face of a nation opposed to just a city, and he would be the face of Canada when it comes to basketball. And if he can stay with this team and build with these young guys that they actually have, that they have a chance to be just a franchise team that's successful in these for many more years to come. Toronto should just sell that to them about this young, talented team and keeping these guys together, and Kawhi being the focal, pivotal point of the team going forward. Raptors off to a hot start, and hopefully they can keep it up and go forward to actually get further into the playoffs. So, next topic, fellas, I'm going to let Jamie and Matt and Dustin, if you want to spearhead this the most, because everyone that knows, listens to this show, I've stemmed my football knowledge from somebody who's sitting right across from me, learning more, and my sides, me being a part of Korah Colts football, but college football is definitely something that I do watch but don't follow as much as these guys here. Me being an Oregon Duck fan, mainly because I like their jersey colors and Marcus Mariota. I'm going to let you guys discuss that because it was requested by our listeners to have more NCAA discussion. We do talk about it lots on our Monday show, but why not bring it to our Wednesday show? So I'm going to let you three talk about this. We already kind of went over time, over the 10-minute mark. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes. Try to keep it under the 5-minute mark, fellas, so we can wrap up the show tonight.
Yeah, I think all of our Michigan fans, they must be happy this week. Huge win for the Michigan Wolverines over Penn State. Everyone thought that was going to be a close game, and Michigan kind of dominated and maybe solidified themselves right now in that one of those top 4 spots for the college playoffs. I didn't think the game was going to be that one-sided. Michigan came out very impressive. So currently right now looking at the top 4, you're looking at obviously Alabama had a big win over LSU, and they've kind of solidified themselves. I think they're the team to beat. It's going to be hard to upset them again this year. They're just a powerhouse year in and year out. Then you got Clemson, and they got their freshman quarterback. Notre Dame coming in at 3 right now, and Michigan at 4. It'd be interesting to see now getting to the last couple weeks in November when you start getting your conference championship games happening and really get down to the end of the season, and any kind of loss may really turn the tides here. So be interested to see what happens in the next couple weeks. I know there's been talk what happens if Michigan wins out and Notre Dame wins out, who gets seated higher, with obviously Notre Dame beat Michigan earlier in the season, but I don't think this Michigan's team is the same team anymore. So it'll really be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. A lot of big games be coming up. Obviously, SEC teams usually get a little bit heavier lean a little bit heavier voting because of how difficult that conference is. So we'll see how the next couple of weeks play out. I'm not sure, Jamie. What do you think? What about the playoff picture and how it shapes up? Okay.
I'm gonna get Jamie fired up because he's gonna back Michigan. Michigan is the most underwhelming team for me. I've never. Yeah, it's. I don't. College football is not about defense. I don't like it.
No, it's not.
I don't like it. It's boring. Harbaugh doesn't deserve what he gets. Michigan, to me, it's just underwhelming, and I'd personally rather see Oklahoma. More exciting, like potential Heisman Trophy, Kyler Murray, that air raid attack, and I don't want to go and watch a Michigan-Alabama game because it's like Alabama's going to dominate them because Michigan has no offense, but like their defense isn't going to be able to stop Tua and the boys, and like I don't know, to me that's boring. Like I want a team that has a puncher's chance to dethrone the Tide, and Michigan to me is not that team. Neither is Clemson and Notre Dame. So like let's just wrap a bow on this season and look forward to next season. Alabama could beat the New York Giants right now.
I don't know if they're beating an NFL team, but I do think that regardless of who Alabama is playing in the playoff, regardless if they're playing the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed, I think they're a 2-touchdown favorite over just about anyone in the entire college football. So it may not be exciting, it may be predictable, but we'll see down the stretch here in college football. There have been weird things have happened.
Yeah, that's the beauty of college football, is literally anything can happen any given Saturday. And I mean, Alabama was pretty convincing win versus LSU, 29-0. I mean, LSU contained Tua pretty well, but they're just a juggernaut. Like I can't disagree with you guys there. I think there's no way they're not the 1 seed. There's no way they don't go undefeated, rolling through into the college football playoff. But I mean, Michigan and Notre Dame, bottom line, if they both win out, they're both in. If one of them loses, though, regardless of what happens in that Georgia-Alabama game, it'd be kind of, because they're going to play in the SEC championship, it'd be curious to see if Georgia still squeaks in. If one of those teams loses, there's still a legit chance. Oklahoma's got potential. I'm not surprised. There's 6 right now. I'm not surprised you're drawn towards Big 12 teams, though, Dustin. Lots of offense. Lots of score. You're the guy with 2 minutes. You're the guy with 2 minutes left that you'd rather let them score on you so that you have a chance to go win the game with no time left. You're that guy. Yeah, exactly. What's 4th down mean? Let's go for it on offense.
I tried to pitch that to you last year, coaching. No punts, always 2-point conversions. The stats are there.
How many times did we run fake punts last year? 1 million?
I don't know. Our offense was so good we didn't punt.
Credit to the offense coordinator. But
I didn't make it up. I just made it.
Humble brag. No, and I mean, before we're at that point, we're in the start of November where it starts to get tighter. We're 8 and 9 games in, but really nothing really gets settled until the last regular season game, and then you get to conference championships. That's when it's really going to get there. Before we move on, though, I want to talk about this West Virginia-Texas game. What a barn burner. And, I mean, the coach saying, let's go for the win. Let's go for the bleeping win. And what a move. They go for it on 2 the first time. Gets whistled down because Texas called a timeout late. They converted it, threw a slant to their stud, Sills. And then they just ran a QB draw, and he ran it in. No, Sills. No T. But unbelievable game. I mean, if you have a chance, like, that's a game. There's tons of highlight packages on YouTube. Just go watch that game over. But
I have a better question.
That's a game Dustin will love.
I have a better question for the round table. Reality. Why is it we aren't having an extra month of college football and having like an Elite 8 play down, winner take all? Like, why are we not moving towards the best?
Only had 2 weeks.
Or 16 is a month. Like, we need this March Madness ordeal in college football. I know like the guys might get hurt and there's like that factor, but it's a massive revenue stream, and can you imagine how big a win and you're in football game would be as opposed to these super good teams not making the college playoffs? Like the one year TCU didn't make the playoffs, I swear to God they could have won it.
They were the 5 seed, yeah.
Yeah, man. And so I'm like, why are we not having this like play down so that these Cinderella stories can happen in football? And yeah, it's UCF. They never got a chance to do it. So why are we not seeing this?
I don't know. I the only way I could see extending the playoff is by 2 teams, giving the top 2 teams maybe a bye, and then having 4 teams play it out. That'd be my only way of extending it. I'm a fan of the current format. It puts a lot more emphasis on the regular season, and each week you have to win basically, or you're going to be losing a playoff spot. If you get rid of that, if you expand it, then there's less importance on the regular season. Every game doesn't matter as much, and I think that's what makes college football great. Is just about from week 1 to the end of the week to the conference championship. It matters because it matters for your seeding if you're going to make the college football playoffs. I like the.
You don't want it to become baseball.
Yeah, you don't want it to not the regular season to not matter. So I do like the format. I could see maybe expanding it by 2 teams, giving 2 other teams a shot, because I think from 3 to 6 is probably pretty tight. But after that, for the most part, after that, a lot of these teams have played each other. They have less common opponents where you can decipher who's the top 6 teams.
Yeah, but 2 teams don't play the same. Another team.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, you're going to be. I know there, and you look at different conferences, and there's kind of different styles of play depending on the conference you're in. You mean you got the Big Ten, run the ball, punt the ball. You know what? I'm happy with the format. I love all the college playoff games. I like they basically start Christmas Day and then they run for 3 weeks. I love that, and you get some of them, the bowl games, they have certain conference matchups that are kind of historical now. That you mean the same conferences are playing the same conferences year after year, and it's kind of nice to see. And I enjoy picking all the games and being a part of our pool that we're in. And I don't want to see it change a lot. Maybe expand it a little bit, but for the most part, I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah, I think it would be tough. I mean, look at how long it took to get to a playoff format, and I think it's worked. So there's potential for it in the future, but it's bottom line, like you brought it up, Dustin, was the injury thing. Like we already see guys starting to sit out of bowl games because Bosa's already said he's not going to play if Ohio State when Ohio State makes it to a bowl game, regardless of what they're playing in. But he's already said he's out, which is a big loss for them. I mean, if somehow they win out and a bunch of teams lose, they could still squeak in and play Alabama and squeak into that 4 spot. I think a lot of things would have to happen.
They get smoked by Alabama.
Right, and
I think they have a better shot against Alabama than Michigan would have against Alabama.
Thanks, buddy. I don't know about that. Shea Patterson's electric, man. He's good. He's good. He's going to make things happen. Michigan's defense is disgusting. They're unbelievable.
Remember when you guys said Jabril Peppers was good at football?
He was great at Michigan. Then he went to Cleveland and they destroyed him. Yeah, Tim Tebow was like the ultimate college quarterback, though.
He might have a chance to make the Mets this year, apparently. He is going to make the New York Mets this year.
No one cares about baseball, Dave.
Starting day roster.
Okay, so he's making it.
Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the hype. The best thing Tim Tebow does now is he's ESPN's college football correspondent. And he does a great job with that. I think he's awesome at it. He calls the guys out for sitting in bowl games, which I love.
He had a pretty good mind.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he had decent stats.
Kyle Leonard, fan of the show, getting his chime in on the Tim Tebow topic. I like that. Yeah, you don't want any. That's going to be on this. It's going to be on the show, just so you know. But fellas, we went overtime as we do. I would love to talk about another topic, but we do have time constraints, and we had to make sure we plug in our time mostly for local football, especially at the beginning of the show. So we are going to wrap up tonight's show here, and we're not going to be done this week, obviously. We got another show tomorrow night at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Myself, Justin Hykel, Dane Hancho, who is back in the lineup tomorrow, and hopefully Brad Kochmel is able to come by. We have Craig Hartsburg on the show tomorrow, and we also plan to hope to have Sioux Thunderbirds guest as well. Craig Hartsburg, as you know, has been on the show a couple times, good friend of the show, and likes to put his input in on the OHL Sioux Greyhounds and his NHL reaction up to date on the season, so you don't want to miss out on that. Next week will be the usual schedule. We're at the Wicked Sister 6 to 8. We're back here at Sportscenter from 9 until about 11 o'clock on Wednesday, so that's Monday and Wednesday respectively, and then next Thursday obviously will be at Northern Critters. But we still have another show this week, and obviously this week we have a little bonus update as we'll be at the field on Saturday in terms of the local football scene with the Senior Football Korah Colts hopefully to defeat West Ferris. That game will be at 2 o'clock at Superior Heights. And make sure you keep an eye on our Facebook page. Like and follow the page. Like and follow our Instagrams as well, as we'll be having posts on there and contests. Follow the show on the Podbean page and the website. When it comes to our special uploads, everyone's been hearing rumors about us broadcasting at Icebreakers. they are true. We are going to be at Icebreakers Lounge for our local update bonus segments every Saturday and or Sunday, especially after Thunderbird games or Sioux Greyhound games. We'll be doing post-game reaction there from Icebreakers once a week or potentially once every 2 weeks. We haven't decided that as of yet, but they will be another sponsor added to the show. So, fellas, we are gonna wrap up tonight's show, and Dustin, to answer your question, they're hopefully playing open up this weekend is the plan. But I know Mitch Wilson and Jody and Aaron will let everybody know when they are open for sure. And as I know, Thunderbird fans are anxiously waiting for that to open so they can go enjoy a Thunderbird game while enjoying a nice product of beer. Fellas, Jamie has stepped away, so I want to say thank you to Jamie. Jamie does say bye to the listeners. Breams, I want to say thanks for coming on by. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me again. Like Dave said, get out, support local football this week. Come cheer on the Korah Colts. It's going to be an exciting game. Bundle up, bring out your winter jacket and 2 commits, and come watch and support these kids. They deserve it. A lot of great athletes. Looking forward to coming back on next week and talking about our NOSSA championship.
But Jamie's actually sat down. I'll let you say bye, because I know you said say bye to the listeners, but I'll let you say bye.
Yes, sorry, I had to step away from the table there. I think I just heard Matt plugging our game this upcoming weekend. Absolutely. So, absolutely come out to that. As always, happy to be here. I mean, looking forward to next week again. Hopefully I'm still on top of the pick-em pool.
I mean, I would escalate.
I think you do. I already looked at it. I think I actually was... I was actually at 9-6 on the last week. Looking at quick, I don't know. I got to look at it again, Jim. I think you still got me from last week, a couple games up. But, Dustin, thanks for, putting your vacation back in your bank today to come in and actually put a shift in on the show. Appreciate it. We love having you on. You're one of the originals on the show. I'm sorry. Every time that you say that you're not here, I say you have a vacation day or a sick day. But, buddy, thanks. Thanks for coming on by. And tell us about your house that you're building.
How much fun do you have today?
None. It's not fun. It's not fun. That's it.
That's all you got.
That out of my face.
That's all he's got. And I want to say thank you to Kyle Leonard, who's sat here today and one of our fans and friends of the show.
Big fan.
Number one fan. Is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So, listeners, until tomorrow night from Northern Superior Brewing Company, make sure you follow the show, like I said, on the Facebook page, Instagram page, or the Puppy page. But until tomorrow, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.